Hello, I'm a gem cutter. Maybe a gem setter, but this is Dwarf Fortress 4015. Now, I'm going to be covering over some of the patch notes for, well, all of the patch notes for version 4015, and one of the main features is that it's mainly a bug fix release as opposed to 4014, which was like a content type release. Now, without further ado, I just want to bring a little something to attention here. In the midst of conflict, I feel no terror. She is terrified while in conflict. And while she's savaging that little kobold right there, let's go over the first major bug fix. Alright, good. Let's see. Gruesome wounds, begone fear. You made those wounds. Alright. First on the list. Made growing trees update cave-in and light information properly. Okay, this is one of those issues that I saw a little while ago, really, where I'm assuming it was a tree because I wasn't quite sure what the message came from, but the message was that something has caved in on the surface. Now, seeing that trees are the only things that can actually cave in on the surface, I assume that that is what this is fixing, where a tree properly grows instead of just growing randomly and then collapsing all over the place. Because real trees don't really do that, where it just suddenly grows a branch and then the branch just falls to the ground. That doesn't normally happen. What are you horrified by anyways? Okay, next on the list. Handled stress counter timing properly in adventure mode. I don't play adventure mode all that much, so I can't say a whole lot about this one. Number 3. Stopped nerve check from bypassing broken parts between thought center and body roots. This is one of those, wow, I don't believe that this game actually did this type of patches, where it's like, well, we're gonna stop the brain from bypassing the body when it goes to the leg. Last I checked, there's really no other game that cares about this kind of detail, so, you know. It's pretty par for the course for Dwarf Fortress, but it's pretty cool all the same. So yes, your brain... I wonder what this actually does, though. Well, if someone ever suffers like a critical injury in the game, maybe I can actually see what it does. But I guess this is more of a back-end type of fix. Next, stop body parts from being pulped if... Okay, thank you. Stop body part from being pulped if inner nervous tissue is not detached. I haven't seen pulping damage yet, so I can't really comment on this one, but pulping is a additional type of injury you can cause to things in the game. I say things because there's a lot of stuff that you want to kill, and then most of them are not dwarves. If memory serves, pulping is about the only way to kill certain creatures, like, say, the giant sponge, because it doesn't feel pain and you can't really, you can't really beat it to death. Or maybe it's just like a result from beating someone over the head with a hammer, because that's what it sounds like. Which ties into made pulped parts bleed properly. Okay, I guess. That way, when you squish someone's head like a rotten tomato, it actually looks like a rotten tomato. Next. Stopped crash from trying to place unit in proper connected component of crowded, retired fort. This is very much so a back-end fix. I've never seen it. I don't know what causes it. Things. It is a patch that fixes and does things. Okay. And last on the major bug fixes list is fixed reverse inside-outside checking for outdoor refuse hauling. I'm not gonna trade with elves because they're elves. Oh yeah. This is not a bug I've personally experienced, where I'm assuming this means that on the outside, your dwarves will not haul what you tell them to haul, in terms of the bones and the other fun stuff, but I don't know, I haven't seen it in 4014, so I don't see what the problem was. And let's see. And now we move on to the lesser fixes. First on the list is animals that can escape from cages are no longer brought by traders. Prior to this, usually traders would bring some things like cardinals or silkworms inside, giant, massive cages, and they just kind of slip out and sit in your fortress because they just want to sit on your fortress. Like the cardinal doesn't really care what you're doing. They just want to flitter around and taunt cats because cats can't kill tamed small creatures. How unfortunate. Next on the list. Made reactions try to guess how their containers will be filled to stop problems with brewing large stacks, etc. It's a thing that fixes things that does things. Okay, moving on. Small coin stacks can no longer be stuffed into non-containers. This is probably an adventure mode fix, because I haven't seen... I personally have not used coins in Dwarf Fortress ever. Like, I've started playing the game after the Dwarven economy was disabled, so... I'm assuming this is very much so an adventure mode fix. Small coin stacks no longer pass through opponents. Adventure mode fix, definitely. In Fortress mode, dwarves don't throw stuff often enough, and in adventure mode, throwing is a reasonable alternative to bows and arrows, because weapons developed to kill people in a distance is not nearly as efficient as your arms. They never are. Okay, next. Stop tantrum dwarves from checking burrows for fistfights. So they weren't... Brown zircon. That's probably very, very valuable if I can actually kill it. But I do not want to kill it right now, so I do not care. Alright. I guess that means that dwarves will no longer care about burrows if they're, in a rage and looking for someone to fight. Something to that effect. Okay, next. Changed tantrum action frequency. So does this mean that we're going to have dwarves tantruming more often or less often? Or rather, a dwarf that's currently tantruming is going to do more things or less things. Given the nature of this game, it's probably going to be more things. I mean, let's be honest here. Next on... Ooh, desert lime roast. That doesn't sound all that good, actually. Whoops. The kobolds showed up and a lot of people got scared, even though they were 3 stories up. Let's put some beds in here, because, we want to put beds in here. That doesn't look very good, does it? No, that looks... Yeah, that doesn't look very good. I don't want this one. Let's put some beds in here. God dang it. Well, fine, then I'll just have 1 space between them. This is sort of like the communal sleeping place for people. I very rarely make individual rooms for up-ground fortresses. It's just too time-consuming. Or rather, I just don't have the patience for that. I have done it before, though. Okay. Distractions aside. Next on the minor bug fixes list. Being in an own site makes Boogeyman not an issue. Again, adventure mode. I'm assuming this works something like if you get into a site that has been owned. Does this mean that if you're not... Normally what happens is if you're outside at night and you're alone and you try to sleep, or maybe you're just wandering around during the night, Boogeyman will come out and essentially ruin your day. Your game would pretty much be over at that point. So maybe this means that if you're in a site, even if you're not indoors, this causes Boogeyman to not appear. Well, you know, if you're the type of person who wants to play adventure mode, try it, and if you die, oh well, it just happens like that. Next on the list. Made ballista arrowheads and ballista arrows have edges. Does this mean that before now they were like blunt weapons? Because if memory serves, the last time I read up on ballistas, they were essentially just blunt weapons. Like they get shot out of the ballista, they hit the enemy, and only the weight of the material in that ballista matter. I guess that's what it changes, where it now does cutting damage instead. Something like that. Who knows? Oh, I should have tested it. I should have tested that. You don't have anything to trade. Get over there anyways. Oh, yes. Yes. Next on the list. Added ability to trade everything in the depot from either column. Right there. Shift enter. Mark all goods for trade. Mark all goods for trade. This is really good for someone like me, especially since I never make bins. So whenever a merchant comes, the crafts that I make for trade have to be hauled here piece by piece, and they have to be traded in piece by piece like this for several goddamn screens. Many screens. So this is very nice. It's amazingly nice. Great. What skills do you have? Nothing. Okay. So you're just gonna... he's probably gonna be like a... what? Bone crafter? Bone crafter? Stone crafter, okay. He's gonna make a marble something, apparently. Alright. Small bug fix. Made column width even in trade view and abbreviated strings differently. Okay, like, it's a thing that does thing that fixes thing. Okay, one of those types of fixes. It's a nice little fix, but it's not, you know, it's not like earth-shaking like the Shift Enter menu, which is tiny and earth-shaking. Next on the list. Add select visible and select category to bring to depot menu. Okay, let's see what that means. Oh goddamn, he left. Fine, then be that way. This is probably just a UI fix, which is one of those nice things. Nice little things. Interesting. Next, added totems to crafts tab of bring to depot screen. Okay. Prior to 4015, and I believe this is across, you know, all versions of Dwarf Fortress that had implemented totems. I don't know how many of them did, but totems, if you wanted to export totems, you had to specifically search for totems. Or if you have that much time on your hands, just go through the all menu and find your totems. But, you know, search for them with a string because it's just faster. And after this fix, this means that you don't have to forget about trading your totems. Because, my god, have I forgotten about trading out totems. So many times. Okay. Add a few categories to the kitchen menu. Alright, that we can actually show off. That's not the kitchen menu. Kitchen menu. Categories. The added categories are vegetables, fruits, leaves, seeds, which shows off all your seeds, and meat, fish, other. Really, it should have been like vegetable, fruit, leaves, seeds, meat, fish, and then alcohol. Like, alcohol should have been its own column, because it's that important. Well, I guess meat, fish, other still makes sense, because tallow is still here. We're not making strawberry. We're not using strawberry wine for our cooking. It's potato wine, isn't potato wine just vodka? I don't alcohol, in case you're wondering. I do not alcohol. Who's fighting? Ooh, wow. Okay, I guess he lost, okay. Yeah, the Forgotten Beast got into a fight with a blind cave ogre, and then he... Okay, what does the Forgotten Beast look like? I forget. I guess that's why he's a Forgotten Beast. Are you dead? Are you dead already? Oh no, that's a were-goat, and he has a name because he killed 3 people. Never mind. Yeah, I can't see you because you're not in my line of sight right now. That's fine. Alright, I've forgotten what the Forgotten Beasts look like. How fitting. Moving right along here. Alphabetized stone and kitchen menus. Gotta go back there. Yeah, alabaster, A, B, C, D, G, H, K, L. Okay, yeah. A nice little fix. This means that you actually have a frame of reference instead of having to remember where it is in the menu. Where's the kid? He's still working, I guess. Next, added magma safe indicator to stone menu. Okay, you might have saw this from the few seconds before where I showed it off, where it now says magma safe. So you don't end up accidentally building a wall out of chalk to hold your magma and then have it, you know, come out of said wall. And then really ruin your day instead of ruining the guys that you wanted to ruin. That is not very good. That is not very good English. But then I do not language very well. I language decently. Next, made in crust jobs respect furniture tools. What are furniture tools? Hello. Why are you sad? Aww. Does this mean that if I don't give people, like, their own rooms, that eventually everyone will just snap? God damn. Have I built my doors yet? Put the doors in. Put the doors in. Put the doors in. This is now a dormitory. Great. One thing I changed was that I gave everybody mason jobs so that the above ground constructions would go a little faster. Okay. That aside, I don't know what furniture tools are. I'm assuming it's things like step ladders, where they're not trying to encrust said step ladders, because you would just lose those step ladders. Then again, I'm not entirely sure what encrust jobs respect furniture tools entails to begin with, so it's speculation on my part. Moving on. Cannot go into specific encrust menus if selected gem not available for encrust. Okay, one of those types of fixes. Where a thing is fixed thing that causes thing to happen type of thing. Next, dead dwarves removed from burrow count. I don't use burrows all that often because I found out that, like, if I use burrows, it tends to break some of the. It tends to break some. I guess I can't say pathing because it doesn't really break pathing. It breaks some of their workshops getting materials type of things, where they just forget how to get materials, even if, you know, even if those stockpiles that contains the materials the workshops need are inside the burrow. So I usually just don't use them. It's like, you know, if you get caught outside and die, then that's natural selection happening. Sucks to be you, really. That's a terrible thing to say. Moving on now. Made a toggle button update properly when moving unit labor view to non-laborer. Thing that fixes thing that does thing. fixed a problem causing the right edge of the embarked world to disappear, including the cursor. I've never seen this happen, and I guess I'm happy that it fixes the ability for a piece of the universe to just disappear, because that seems like a pretty, big problem. Where it's like, and suddenly we don't have the right side of the world anymore. That could get a little annoying sometimes. Although, I guess speaking seriously, if that only shows up during embark and only at the right edge, that's not something most people will come across. So, kudos to the guys who found that issue. Next, fixed location of cursor in minimap for resized windows. Oops, should not be touching my mic. Okay. I'm assuming the minimap is that thing, and I've never found the minimap useful to begin with, so it's a neat little fix. Made does not exist. Exclude creatures from certain lists properly. I don't know what those certain lists are, but if they're being excluded from it, that's probably good-ish for us. Although, if it's being excluded from, like, appearing lists, that means that we don't get things like griffins showing up, which is, which means that we can't have dwarves riding war griffins, and that's a little sad, I have to admit. Moving on. Stopped stress reactions from being applied to unintelligent critters. In other words, ignorance is bliss. Moving next. Stopped stress reactions of hidden creatures from being announced. Ignorance is ignorance for the player, because it's not really bliss if you don't know what the issue is. Like, since Ebola is a big thing right now, it's like, if you never knew Ebola was, or rather, if you do not know what Ebola is, being told that you don't have it is not going to be as joyful as knowing what it is and being told that you don't have it. So it's less, really, it's less ignorance is bliss and more, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, it's more, I wish I didn't know what I already knew kind of thing, I guess. Next, fix many typos, parentheses, Gorobe. I'm assuming Gorobe is the name of a player and that he is, helpful to the... Yes, thank you, giant hamster. He is helpful... Oh, Jesus, you've been sitting there for a while now, haven't you? Metal bars, cut gems, tan hides, cut gems. You should have that stuff already. Okay, metal bars, cut gems. Do I not have cut gems? Make a gem cutter right now. I'm pretty sure I have tan hides though. If I don't, have to slaughter a sheep. Bloodstone, yeah. Just in case if I don't actually have a tan hides, let's kill some of our. Let's kill my sheep crowd. Okay, back to Gorobe. I'm assuming it's like a name of a player, and then they help catch the typos and, inform the Toady one that they are typos and they should be fixed, yada yada yada. So, good for you, Gorobe, if you are actually a person. Next on the list. Updated description for pulping so it doesn't say bruised. I guess this is a bruised just doesn't sound vicious enough type of thing. Because pulping sounds dangerous. Bruised sounds inconvenient. Next, fixed broken artifact thought text. Back-end fix, or I guess it's not really a back-end fix if you can see it, but it's like a it's a, what's the word? What is that word I'm looking for? It's a fix, whatever. My brain dictionary is not working today. Moving on. Fix broken... Nope. Moving on beyond that. Stopped immortality goal from having a broken display in thoughts. Okay, what the hell, man? Does this mean that dwarves can... Hello, human caravan. I actually want to trade with you in a moment. Does this mean that dwarves can actually have, like... have a god complex? Is that what I'm looking at here? Because that would mean that a dwarf in the game is wanting to replace the person playing the game. And I'm not entirely sure I want that. In all seriousness, that's pretty cool though. I talked to my friend, I feel fun. He feels fun as from talking to the friend. Great. Just wonderful. Yeah. Shoot, I wanted to show that off. The yellow line, he dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. I'm assuming that this is what the fixes, where the word issue is, you know, handled properly, that kind of stuff. Still, if they really can get, like, you know, a god complex, that is actually really damn awesome, because I get the feeling that a lot of players, and myself included, will actually want to assist that dwarf in becoming a god. Because then you would be managing a fortress that has a god managing the fortress, which would be pretty cool. Godception. Next, properly recognized multiple embark minecarts of the same material. I assume this means that if you have like 2 oaken minecarts in the embark window, and then you start the game, you will only end up with 1 embark minecart, and this was fixed. And I've never seen this issue before, so congrats to the person who found it. Next, slow down, tantrum, mood, etc. indicators. Okay, I can actually show this off if I can find the mooding child. Kid, where are you? Go to unit. Wow, okay. Didn't you just have a gold bar before? Okay, so it's really flashy right now, but for when a dwarf is tantruming or when they're mooding, they tend to flash. So their icon alternates between their picture, which is the little smiley face, or an exclamation mark, which indicates, and if the exclamation mark is yellow, that's them throwing a hissy fit. If the exclamation mark is some other color, that's them being artistically stimulated in some way. There's quite a lot of, actually, not just yellow. If it's yellow, blue, and red, then that's either definitely bad or marginally bad. If it's any other color, it's definitely good or good with a caveat. Let's say, you know, the strange mood that a dwarf can get depends on their current mood. If they're unhappy, they tend to go into slightly more evil moods where they will like nab a nearby dwarf and then kill him because they really wanted to make a pickaxe. That kind of stuff. Bonus points if it's made out of baby bones. It's a weird game. Like, out of context, it's a very, very weird game. Alright. But yeah, slow down tantrum mood indicators just means that the flashy exclamation mark is less flashy. Next on the list. What the hell? Okay, this is definitely an adventure mode fix. Stop the zombies from interrupting your sleep to ask if they can help you with something. Yeah. I'm gonna let that stand where it is. The most helpful dead in the world. Next, increased default embark points to compensate for more default equipment. Okay. This means that you now have more stuff to buy stuff with, which is always nice. Last 3. Allow deletion of first uniform. Uniforms being the... uniforms. So you can now delete, I guess, this one. I personally just leave these alone, and I just make the new ones, make new uniforms underneath that, and I just don't bother trying to use these. So it's a nice fix. It's a thing that does a thing that does a thing. Last two. Stopped crafts brought by traders from satisfying craft mandates. Occasionally you will have, well, once you get above 50 dwarves, you will have people like mayors or barons who want you to make specific stuff for them. And yeah, it's no longer as egregious nowadays as it was before a certain patch. Those of you who have played this game, and I think given the audience that's like all of you, know what I'm talking about. This just means that you can now, like, if they're looking for you to make cabinets, you can no longer buy cabinets and satisfy that demand. Although it's easy enough nowadays where it doesn't really matter. So my favorite noble demand that I remember throughout all these years is one noble who wanted us to make a Mako shark leather handbag. I don't even know what the hell a Mako shark is. So, you know, like any honorable, self-respecting Dwarf Fortress player, I locked him in a room and killed him. Because that stuff tends to happen a lot. Moving right along. Last item in the list. Made weather init option clear up weather properly instead of just turning off the global simulation. Yeah, this sounds like a back-end fix, and probably is a back-end fix, where I guess if the current map was raining, I saved, left, turned it off, and it came back, the rain would just turn off. Instead of it being before, where I assume the rain would keep going until whatever timer is up, and then it would just stop. And then the weather at that point would stop. At least that's what I think it is. Okay, now that I have someone shift... Ooh. Move visible goods, huh? Interesting. Let's see now. Full shield, leather armor. Sort by value, armor. Let's get all this out of the way. Nifty, very nifty. Shift, enter. I didn't think we had enough cats to make armor out of, but you know. I guess my question is, if you're a cat lover and you had dead cats, is wearing their skin as armor a good thing or a bad thing for you? And on one hand, your cats are, you know, your dead cats are now serving their afterlives in protection to you, but on the other hand, you're wearing a leather made out of cat. I personally would not want to skin my cat and use him as armor, so that, plus he's just too small for that. Maybe I should have said he was too small first, I don't know. Do not export those just yet, the kid needs them. How do I get these? How did I get these? I don't understand. Did I buy them? I don't remember buying them. Do I have any crafts? Yeah. See, totems are now part of the menu, which is great. Oh, this is so satisfying to not have to go through it piece by piece. Ah, that feels good. I'm just gonna get back to my game right now. This has been a gem cutter, maybe a gem setter. I'm off.